Hello friends. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the date January 25th? What cosmic blueprint shapes the souls born on this day? Today, we unravel the layers, astrological, numerical, mythological, even botanical, to uncover the destiny, power, and potential of people born on January 25th. This is more than just a horoscope. It's your soul's resume, written in the stars, stones, numbers, and nature itself. Astrological personality, the Aquarius of January 25th. Born on January 25th, these Aquarians represent a unique synthesis of genius-level intellect and progressive idealism. Ruled by the revolutionary planet Uranus, they channel innovation like lightning, quick, bold, and transformative. And since they fall under the first decan of Aquarius, their Uranian influence is intensified, giving them not only a desire to disrupt the status quo but a vision for what comes next. They aren't content with just dreaming of a better world, they're engineering it, blueprint by blueprint. Highly intellectual and analytical. People born on January 25th live almost entirely in their minds, but not in a detached way, in a strategic one. They're naturally drawn to abstract concepts, systems thinking, and deep philosophical inquiry. Whether it's quantum physics or existentialism, they digest complexity with ease and often explain it in terms others can grasp. Their intelligence isn't just book-based, it's deeply intuitive and forward-facing. These are the minds that predict trends, ask uncomfortable questions, and refuse to settle for surface-level thinking. They observe, absorb, and then reimagine. Nothing escapes their mental microscope. Independent to the core. There's a fierce autonomy in the January 25th soul. From childhood, they show signs of doing things their way, often clashing with conventional systems or resisting authority for the sake of authentic self-expression. They're not contrarian for the sake of it, they simply operate best when unbound. They need space to breathe, create, and ideate. Relationships, careers, and even hobbies must allow for self-determination. Dependence suffocates them. They'll walk away from comfort if it means preserving their independence, and they'll do it with calm resolve, not drama. Innovative, often ahead of their time. Born on January 25th, you're not living in the present, you're living just ahead of it. These individuals consistently generate ideas, insights, and intuitions that seem too strange or radical at first, until time catches up and proves them right. Whether in technology, social thought, design, or even lifestyle choices, they're often a decade ahead. They embrace change, anticipate needs, and challenge outdated systems. Their minds are a wellspring of invention. If you give them a problem, they'll give you 5 unexpected, but brilliant, solutions. Emotionally guarded, but deeply loyal. Though friendly and engaging, people born on this day keep their innermost feelings closely protected. They aren't cold, they're just selective. Emotional intimacy takes time. But once you've earned their trust, they'll defend you with an unwavering loyalty that's as rare as it is resilient. They don't need constant affirmation or romantic theatrics, they need truth, mutual respect, and shared values. If you betray them, they won't scream, they'll just vanish. But treat them with authenticity, and you'll gain a friend or partner who stands beside you through every storm. Magnetic in social settings. There's something undeniably captivating about those born on January 25th. They're not always the loudest in the room, but they're often the most intriguing. People gravitate to their wit, their ideas, their unpredictability. They're social shapeshifters, able to vibe with intellectuals, artists, misfits, and visionaries alike. They carry a blend of mystery and warmth that makes others lean in and want to know more. Even when they try to hide in the background, they somehow end up becoming the center of conversation. They're effortlessly original, and others can sense it. Lovers of freedom, but seekers of purpose. Freedom isn't just a preference for these Aquarians, it's a lifeline. They need the ability to choose their path, ask their questions, and change course when necessary. But that freedom isn't directionless. January 25th natives are also deeply purpose-driven. They seek meaning in their work, alignment in their relationships, and evolution in their personal lives. They're often called to causes, missions, or innovations that transcend personal gain. At their best, they become changemakers, people who redefine what's possible for themselves and the world. People born on January 25th don't follow trends, they spark them. They're not followers of tradition, nor are they rebels without cause. They're thinkers, builders, visionaries, wired to challenge assumptions and shape the next version of reality. If you're lucky enough to know one, listen closely. You're in the presence of the future. Love, romance, intimacy. Romantic connections for those born on January 25th are anything but traditional. Love, to them, is an intellectual and spiritual partnership, not a possession. They crave companionship that uplifts, inspires, and expands their worldview. Emotionally curious but slow to commit, they analyze love the way a scientist dissects a mystery, seeking patterns, meaning, and purpose. Yet, beneath their cerebral approach lies a deep longing for truth, a desire to find someone who accepts their quirks, respects their boundaries, and dreams as boldly as they do. They crave freedom within connection. Being in love doesn't mean being attached at the hip. January 25th Aquarians need space like others need oxygen. They flourish in relationships where both partners can grow independently while still nurturing their bond. Overclinginess or emotional dependence triggers their internal escape route. They need to feel trusted, not tethered. That said, they're not afraid of commitment, they simply define it differently. A relationship must be a launching pad, not a cage. Love, for them, is choosing each other without sacrificing the self. They love partners who respect their individuality. Cookie-cutter roles in love just won't cut it. They're most drawn to people who see and celebrate their uniqueness, those who don't try to fix or mold them. They want a partner who brings out their originality, not someone who expects conformity. Respect for their ideas, their space, and their idiosyncrasies is the ultimate love language. They love partners who walk beside them, not behind or in front. Mutual curiosity, not control, forms the foundation of lasting connection. They're most compatible with those who listen, not control. Dialogue is everything. They fall for people who engage in conversation like it's an art form, people who listen deeply and respond thoughtfully. Control freaks, emotional manipulators, or those who interrupt too much will be politely shown the door. They want to be seen, not steered. They seek emotional fluency in their partners, the ability to hold space, stay open-minded, and grow together rather than dominate. When someone genuinely listens, they unlock parts of the Aquarian heart few ever reach. They are late bloomers in love, often choosing their hearts once their minds are sure. Romantic decisions aren't rushed here. Love is filtered through a rigorous internal vetting process. Is this person real? Is this sustainable? Is this worth it? That doesn't mean they don't feel deeply, it just takes time for those feelings to crystallize into commitment. They may explore love through trial and error in their younger years, often pulling away when things feel too restrictive. But when the right connection comes, one that aligns with both intellect and soul, they're all in, deeply devoted and beautifully consistent. Biggest turn-on. Intellectual chemistry. Surface-level attraction won't hold them for long. What really ignites their desire is someone who can think with them, debate with them, challenge them, surprise them. Forget cheesy pickup lines, talk to them about technology ethics, the philosophy of free will, or your latest passion project. They're turned on by curiosity, vision, and originality. They don't want a textbook romance, they want a one-of-a-kind journey. Stimulate their mind, and the rest will follow, passionately and authentically. Sex passion. Don't be misled by their cool, intellectual demeanor. Beneath that composed surface, people born on January 25th harbor an intense, dynamic sensuality. Sexuality for them is a multidimensional experience, not a routine. It's a language of the soul, mind, and body all at once. They approach intimacy the same way they approach everything else, curiously, fearlessly, and with a flair for breaking boundaries. Each experience is a discovery, a conversation, and a creation. They're not just lovers, they're architects of erotic depth. With them, sex isn't something that just happens, it's something that evolves. Experimental and open-minded. January 25th natives are not bound by tradition or societal rules when it comes to intimacy. They're always seeking to understand, expand, and experiment. For them, sex is a playground of connection and innovation. They're likely to explore a wide spectrum of sensual experiences, from playful to profound, from spontaneous to deeply intentional. The same way they challenge conventions in thought, they challenge norms in desire. Role play? Sure. Tantra? Fascinating. Boundaries? Only the healthy kind. What matters most is mutual consent, curiosity, and a shared willingness to go beyond the expected. Attracted to novelty. Routine is the enemy of desire for these individuals. They crave the unexpected, the new, the mentally stimulating. A change in environment, a shift in mood, or even a new philosophical conversation can reignite their attraction. They're the type who are turned on by variety, not in partners necessarily, but in experiences. They're likely to be adventurous lovers, always introducing new layers of excitement. Monotony can dull their spark, while creative, evolving intimacy keeps them deeply engaged. The mind must be surprised before the body follows. Values trust before deep intimacy. They may be open-minded, but they're not reckless. True sexual vulnerability only unfolds after a strong foundation of trust has been established. These Aquarians need to know that their emotional and psychological space is respected. When they feel safe, their sensual side blooms, radiantly, unpredictably, and with full authenticity. If they sense manipulation, judgment, or possessiveness, the shutters come down instantly. But when they feel truly seen and accepted, they'll offer a depth of intimacy that's rare and unforgettable. Prefers meaningful connection over flings, though they might try a few, just to see. In their younger years or in moments of exploration, they may dabble in casual encounters, more out of curiosity than desire for detachment. But even in those fleeting moments, they're quietly assessing chemistry, intelligence, and compatibility. Eventually, they tend to seek something more profound, a connection that stimulates the body but also nourishes the mind and soul. They want lovers who feel like co-conspirators, not just partners in passion. Casual sex might be a chapter, but meaningful intimacy is the entire novel. Their sexuality is like their ruling planet Uranus, electric and unpredictable. Just like Uranus brings sudden shifts and revelations, so too does their erotic energy. It can feel like a quiet hum one moment and a full-throttle surge the next. There's no linear arc to their sexuality, it pulses, sparks, and reinvents itself constantly. With them, no two nights feel the same. They're inspired by spontaneity, empowered by honesty, and fueled by a deep belief that sex should be liberating, not performative. And in every encounter, there's an undertone of rebellion, not against their partner, but against any norm that tries to define them. Marriage. Long-term relationships. For someone born on January 25th, marriage is not a destination, it's a collaboration. They're not seeking a traditional mold or a forever after scripted in cliches. What they want is a connection that evolves, adapts, and breathes with them. They view long-term commitment as a journey between equals, two individuals choosing to walk beside each other, not out of obligation, but for mutual respect and fascination. If their autonomy is respected, they'll build a bond more durable than gold. But cage them with rigid roles or emotional expectations, and they'll disappear without looking back. Only if it's a partnership of equals. Hierarchy has no place in their version of love. They'll never tolerate dominance, submission unless it's playful and consensual, or control-based dynamics. What they desire is synergy, a meeting of minds and values where both partners contribute and lead at different times. They thrive in relationships where independence is not just allowed, but encouraged. They want someone who has their own passions, ideas, and dreams, not someone who revolves entirely around them. For them, equality isn't a goal, it's the foundation of everything meaningful in love. No leash. No cage. Freedom is the oxygen of their soul. Even in the happiest of marriages, they need personal space, time to explore their own ideas, socialize independently, or simply be alone. Attempts to micromanage their time, emotions, or decisions will only backfire. The more freedom they're granted, the more love and loyalty they give in return. They don't fear commitment, they fear confinement. And when they feel trapped, their instincts kick in, sudden, silent, and final. Give them wings, and they'll never fly away. If you offer freedom, loyalty, and mutual growth, they'll give you a lifetime of love and dedication. Despite their independence, January 25th Aquarians are deeply capable of long-term love. When they find someone who respects their space and meets them intellectually, they're all in. They're the type to build a life with purpose, supporting their partner's evolution as much as their own. Marriage for them becomes a shared adventure in growth, creativity, and mutual discovery. They will be your biggest fan, your most honest mirror, and your constant ally, so long as the relationship feels like a living, breathing organism, not a contract carved in stone. Gemini matches their mental agility. This union is pure intellectual fireworks. Both signs crave stimulation, conversation, and novelty. Together, they laugh, debate, explore, and learn. They understand each other's need for freedom, making the relationship feel expansive rather than restrictive. This isn't a clingy match, it's a partnership between two curious souls who keep each other mentally aroused and emotionally intrigued. Libra offers balance and beauty. Libra brings harmony, grace, and an appreciation for aesthetics, qualities that soothe Aquarius's high-voltage energy. This match thrives on shared ideals, creativity, and a love of social connection. Libra helps bring softness and diplomacy to Aquarius's intensity, while Aquarius inspires Libra to think bigger and break molds. Together, they find balance between vision and beauty. Sagittarius brings shared love of freedom. This is a free-spirited, big-picture match that thrives on adventure, mutual respect, and spontaneous growth. Neither sign is possessive, and both appreciate honesty and exploration. Together, they can travel, create, and philosophize endlessly. This relationship feels like a never-ending quest, exciting, expansive, and ever-evolving. Aries adds excitement and shared boldness. Both signs are bold, direct, and action-oriented. Aries brings passion and fearlessness, while Aquarius contributes originality and depth. This is a power couple in the making, if they learn to respect each other's different rhythms. Aries moves fast, Aquarius thinks ahead. But when aligned, they push each other toward greatness with a fiery momentum. Beware, Taurus and Scorpio can be too possessive. Cancer might be too emotionally demanding. Taurus seeks stability and routine, which can feel suffocating to an Aquarius born on January 25th. Scorpio's intensity and need for control often clash with Aquarius's demand for transparency and space. Cancer's emotional depth, while beautiful, may overwhelm the more cerebral Aquarian. These matches can work, but only with major compromise, constant communication, and a strong foundation of mutual understanding. Friendship social bonds. To someone born on January 25th, friendship isn't casual, it's intentional. These individuals see friendships as living, evolving collaborations based on mutual respect, curiosity, and authenticity. They don't simply hang out with people for convenience or small talk. They choose their inner circle with the same discernment a curator chooses rare art. Each person must offer depth, uniqueness, and emotional resonance. Shallow connections bore them, performative relationships repel them. They want friends who can talk philosophy at midnight, disappear for a month, and then return like no time passed. That's not just friendship to them, that's kinship of the mind. Extremely loyal once they trust you. Trust is everything for January 25th Aquarians. They don't hand it out easily, and they don't expect it in return without effort. But once you've earned their trust, they'll back you like no one else. These are the friends who'll defend your name in rooms you're not in, show up when your world collapses, and give you the kind of honest advice others won't dare to speak. Their loyalty isn't loud, it's consistent. It's felt in the quiet check-ins, the way they remember your smallest details, or the way they analyze your problems like they're their own. Betray that trust, however, and the emotional disconnect is immediate, and often permanent. Supportive but not clingy. People born on this day embody the perfect balance between presence and space. They don't smother, they don't hover, and they'll never guilt-trip you for needing time alone. In fact, they expect and value independence in their friendships. They're there when it counts, offering insight, laughter, or just a quiet presence when needed, but they won't stalk your social feed or expect daily check-ins. Their version of support is empowering, not enmeshing. They're the kind of friend who helps you become more of yourself, not less. You grow together, but separately, in your own timelines, without pressure. Often the wise rebel, in their social circle. Every group of friends has that one person who challenges the status quo, proposes wild ideas, and somehow always ends up being right 5 years later. That's the January 25th friend. They're equal parts philosopher and provocateur, offering cutting insight one moment and launching into a visionary dream the next. They're often the ones introducing new concepts, questioning groupthink, or encouraging others to be more authentic. People come to them not just for laughs or sympathy, but for perspective. They break echo chambers and help others think critically, whether it's about personal life choices or global issues. Drawn to diverse, eclectic groups. One look at a January 25th native's friend circle and you'll see the full spectrum of humanity. They are magnetized by difference, be it in culture, background, personality, or life philosophy. They aren't interested in cliques or cookie-cutter social circles. They want the artists and the engineers, the poets and the skeptics, the introverts and the extroverts. In fact, the more diverse the group, the more inspired they feel. To them, every person is a world, and collecting diverse minds is a way of expanding their own universe. They thrive in environments where no two conversations sound the same. They are the friend who shows up with a solution when no one else even knew there was a problem. Perhaps their most magical quality as friends is their intuition. While others are still processing, they've already analyzed the situation, thought of 10 solutions, and quietly prepared Plan B. They're not just emotionally intelligent, they're logically empathic. They sense when something's off and, instead of flooding you with platitudes, they offer practical, intelligent support. Their advice isn't just comforting, it's useful. Their timing isn't just good, it's uncanny. You won't always see them working in the background, but when the crisis comes, they're the first call, and the last to leave. Business, career, wealth. People born on January 25th don't just go to work, they go to build something. Career, for them, is never just a paycheck or a title. It's a mission. A message. A platform for making meaningful change. They are driven by ideas, not ego. They're more interested in creating systems that outlast them than in climbing ladders just to reach the top. They bring originality, resilience, and a non-traditional approach to every professional arena they enter. While they may clash with overly rigid institutions, they shine in roles that value innovation, social impact, and intellectual freedom. Inventors, scientists, or tech entrepreneurs. With their ability to think several steps ahead of everyone else, January 25 born individuals are natural pioneers in science and technology. Their minds are wired for problem solving, and they often stumble upon breakthroughs simply by connecting concepts others miss. Whether designing a new app, theorizing alternative energy models, or developing futuristic medical tools, they approach innovation like a calling. They're not content to tweak existing systems, they want to reinvent them entirely. And in the fast-paced, ever-evolving world of tech and invention, their vision feels not only refreshing, but essential. Writers, journalists, or thought leaders. Ideas are their native language, and storytelling is often the medium through which they share them. These Aquarians make powerful writers, not just because they're articulate, but because they have something original to say. Their voices are fresh, fearless, and often tinged with satire or subversion. In journalism, they excel at investigative work, analysis, or long-form features that peel back the curtain on culture, politics, or technology. As public intellectuals or content creators, they use platforms to challenge the norm and introduce the radical, always with clarity, wit, and a bit of rebellious charm. Psychologists or sociologists. Their fascination with how people think and behave, coupled with a keen analytical mind, makes January 25th individuals excellent at decoding human complexity. They don't just observe behavior, they understand it, often in layers that others overlook. In psychology, they blend empathy with objectivity. In sociology, they apply data to deep truths about communities and cultures. Their natural detachment helps them stay grounded in emotionally charged spaces, while their insight offers healing and clarity to others. They don't judge, they decode, and then they empower. Activists, educators, or futurists. January 25th Aquarians are often drawn to work that creates systemic change. They're not content simply being part of the conversation, they want to rewrite the conversation entirely. As educators, they revolutionize classrooms. As activists, they lead movements rooted in forward-thinking values. As futurists, they advise organizations on what's coming next. Whether fighting for climate reform, reimagining educational models, or championing social justice, they are catalysts of progress. Their greatest satisfaction comes from knowing that their work didn't just pay bills, it made waves. Their minds are designed to look 5 to 10 years ahead. In business, they're visionaries. Sometimes misunderstood at first, but always respected later. They often propose ideas that seem too much or too soon for their contemporaries. They're used to being the lone voice in the boardroom or the unconventional candidate in the pitch meeting. But give it time, and their once radical ideas start to look like inevitabilities. That's the mark of a true visionary. They don't aim to fit in. They aim to redefine. And while their early career path might be bumpy due to their nonconformist style, those who stay the course are often hailed as pioneers or disruptors in their fields. Financial advice. They're not naturally materialistic, so budgeting is key. Surround yourself with grounded partners who can help you turn your ideas into tangible returns. Because they're more focused on ideas than income, financial planning isn't always their strength. They might invest in passion projects that don't immediately pay off, or forget to monetize their intellectual capital. That's why having financially savvy allies, partners, advisors, or collaborators, is crucial. These grounded allies can help turn their vision into sustainable wealth. A structured budget or solid financial plan doesn't restrict their freedom, it enhances it. With the right team, they can bring their groundbreaking ideas to market, and build a life that reflects both their values and their vision. Numerology of January 25th, the power of 7. Let's break it down. 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. In numerology, the number 7 is known as the thinker, the philosopher, the deep diver into life's unseen currents. It is the number of the seeker, someone who isn't satisfied with surface-level answers or convenient truths. It's the number that says, look deeper. Now, when you combine this with the cerebral, futuristic energy of Aquarius, you get someone who isn't just intelligent, they're profound. Someone who blends science with spirit, and data with dreams. January 25th individuals are naturally tuned to vibrations others miss. They walk through life like detectors of hidden meaning, quietly, but with purpose. Deep thinkers. People born under the influence of 7 have minds that never stop turning. They don't just consider what is, they think about what it means, where it came from, and what patterns lie underneath it. For a January 25th individual, thoughts are layered, recursive, and often laced with metaphysical insight. They ponder everything from the structure of the universe to the motivations of a stranger on the subway. This isn't daydreaming, it's intellectual excavation. They're not trying to be clever, they're trying to understand. In conversation, they may pause to reflect deeply before speaking, not because they're unsure, but because they're fine-tuning truth. Question everything. The number 7 is the eternal skeptic, not cynical, but critically awake. Combine that with Aquarian curiosity, and you have someone who refuses to accept dogma, authority, or tradition without investigation. January 25th people are the ones who ask, why? Not once, but over and over, until the answers make logical and spiritual sense. They're not rebellious for the sake of it, they simply can't help but deconstruct systems and examine motives. This makes them incredible problem solvers, as well as natural debaters. To them, doubt is not a weakness, it's a gateway to wisdom. Drawn to the metaphysical. Even the most grounded January 25th individual will, at some point, find themselves attracted to the world of unseen forces. This could take the form of astrology, quantum mechanics, ancient philosophy, energy healing, numerology itself, or even dream analysis. They're fascinated by what lies beyond physical perception, not because it's trendy, but because it calls them. The 7 vibration in their life path drives them to uncover life's sacred geometry. They are often caught between worlds, the rational and the mystical, the seen and the unseen, the provable and the profoundly felt. And they wouldn't have it any other way. Often highly intuitive, even psychic. Though analytical by nature, many people born on January 25th have a sixth sense they can't always explain. It may appear as knowing who's about to call, sensing people's emotional states without being told, or receiving insights that later prove accurate. They might not advertise these abilities, but they know they're real. Their intuition often operates like a quiet inner compass, guiding them through decisions and relationships with a sense of just knowing. When they trust this inner voice, life tends to flow more easily. When they ignore it, that's usually when trouble begins. Prefer quality over quantity in all things. Whether it's friendships, books, career paths, or even romantic relationships, the 7 in January 25th natives leads them to choose depth over abundance. They don't collect for the sake of collecting. One true friend means more than a dozen acquaintances. One meaningful project is better than 5 half-hearted jobs. They crave substance, integrity, and resonance. This applies to how they spend their time, what they value, and how they measure success. They're not interested in being busy, they're interested in being fulfilled. They seek alignment, not applause. People born on January 25th often feel like they don't quite belong to their generation, or any generation. There's an ancient quality in their presence, a quiet wisdom that suggests they've been here before. They're not trying to fit in, they're trying to figure it out. They're old souls on a futuristic path, and numerology confirms it. Their purpose is to seek, to question, to know. Druid Tree Horoscope, the Cypress. In the ancient Druid tree Zodiac, which predates much of modern Western astrology, each individual is symbolically linked to a tree that reflects their deepest essence. Those born on January 25th fall under the cypress tree, a tree revered for its resilience, solemn grace, and ability to thrive in both harsh and sacred landscapes. To the Druids, the cypress symbolized transformation, longevity, and quiet inner strength. Much like the people born under its influence, the cypress doesn't need constant sunlight to grow, it just needs firm roots and patience. It flourishes in stillness. And so do they. Faithfulness and strength. Cypress-born individuals embody loyalty at their core, not the loud, demonstrative kind, but the unwavering kind. They don't make grand declarations or dramatic promises. Instead, they show up, consistently and quietly, when it counts most. They are dependable in times of crisis, calm in the face of pressure, and unshakably devoted to the people and principles they hold dear. Their strength is often underestimated, because it doesn't demand the spotlight, it sustains others from the background. You'll never see them brag, but you'll always feel their presence when storms hit. They are living proof that true strength speaks softly. Noble presence. Even if they're dressed in simplicity or walking unnoticed through a crowd, January 25th Cyprus people exude a kind of subtle nobility. It's in the way they carry themselves, with quiet confidence, contemplative eyes, and a deep respect for others' space. They don't impose, but they command attention through authenticity. You feel better around them, more grounded. Their energy is clean, their intentions clear. And whether they're speaking or simply listening, they bring an aura of self-respect that inspires others to rise to their level, not in competition, but in consciousness. Quiet resilience. Cypress trees grow in places where other trees simply can't survive, swamps, rocky terrain, and even cemeteries. Likewise, people born under this sign have a remarkable ability to withstand emotional and psychological adversity. They may not always express their struggles, but they endure them, and emerge wiser. Life doesn't break them, it hones them. And while they may retreat during periods of hardship, it's not to collapse, it's to heal, reflect, and regenerate. Their comeback is always quieter than their downfall, but far more powerful. They don't just survive, they refine. Comfort in solitude. January 25th Cyprus individuals are not afraid to be alone. In fact, solitude often feels like a necessary element of their wellness. They don't view time alone as loneliness, it's clarity, sanctuary, and reset. During these private hours, they process emotions, sort through mental clutter, and reconnect with their own rhythm. They're the ones who can spend an entire weekend in silence, emerging with a new idea, a deeper understanding, or a renewed sense of purpose. Their friends may not always understand this need for space, but it's part of their emotional ecology. Without solitude, they wither. With it, they bloom. Cyprus people are dependable, elegant, and often philosophical. They don't crumble under pressure, they root deeper. There's a gravity to them, a kind of soulful elegance that doesn't demand recognition, but earns respect. They are deep thinkers by nature, drawn to philosophy, spiritual exploration, and meaningful conversations. You won't find them wasting time on gossip or superficial noise. Their minds and hearts crave substance. And when life tests them, as it inevitably does, they don't splinter. They dig down. They become even more grounded in their values, even more attuned to their purpose. Their version of resilience isn't about bouncing back, it's about growing down to rise better. Flower horoscope, the orchid. Delicate yet resilient. Mysterious yet precise. Elegant yet undeniably bold. The orchid is not just a flower, it's a statement, and for those born on January 25th, it's a mirror. In the world of floral symbolism, orchids represent rarity, refinement, and spiritual allure. They aren't loud or flashy like roses, nor do they beg for attention like sunflowers. Instead, orchids command admiration through their uniqueness. Their strength lies in their subtlety, their poise, and their refusal to bloom for just anyone. Similarly, January 25th individuals thrive in environments that understand their complexity. When those conditions are met, their presence is unforgettable, transforming every space they enter with quiet beauty and extraordinary depth. A symbol of luxury, refinement, and rare beauty. The orchid has always been associated with high value, not only in aesthetic terms, but in emotional and spiritual symbolism. Just like this flower, people born on January 25th carry an air of luxury, not the kind measured in dollars, but in discernment. Their taste is refined, their presence elevated. They aren't interested in what's trendy or expected, they gravitate toward the exceptional, the intentional, the well-crafted. This is someone who will appreciate the quiet beauty of a handmade ceramic cup more than a flashy gift. Their version of beauty is thoughtful, cultivated, and rare. And in a world obsessed with more, they remind us that less, but meaningful, is a luxury of its own. You don't bloom for everyone. Like the orchid, which refuses to flower without just the right light, humidity, and care, January 25th individuals do not open up easily or automatically. They're not emotionally distant, but rather discerning. They reserve their inner world for those who approach with respect, patience, and authenticity. They cannot be rushed into connection. With them, trust is earned slowly, intimacy is revealed gradually, and once it is, it's breathtaking in its authenticity. They need to feel intellectually engaged, emotionally safe, and spiritually understood before they can fully show who they are. And when they do, it's not just blooming, it's transformation. You require the right conditions, a stimulating environment, emotional respect, and a little mystery. To truly thrive, January 25th souls need more than comfort, they need conditions. They need people who ask interesting questions. Spaces that invite their mind to wander. Relationships that honor their boundaries. Like orchids in the wild, they don't do well in toxic climates or artificial setups. They bloom where there's emotional intelligence, mutual respect, and room for complexity. And perhaps most importantly, they need mystery. Not in the sense of secrecy, but in the sense of wonder. The feeling that life, and the people around them, still have depth left to explore. But once you do bloom, unforgettable. Once a January 25th person feels seen, safe, and inspired, they open like a masterpiece. Their personality shines with charisma, wisdom, wit, and a beauty that can't be faked. They become fully expressive, wildly creative, and intensely loyal. Their energy lights up rooms not through volume, but through presence. People remember their words, their ideas, their essence, sometimes years later. Just like the rare orchid that blooms only once a year but captivates all who see it, these individuals leave a lasting impression. Not everyone gets to witness it, but those who do, never forget. Birthstone energy, garnet. Bold and grounding, ancient and fiery, garnet isn't just a birthstone. It's a force of nature, crystallized. For those born on January 25th, this rich red gem offers more than visual allure, it provides energetic structure. As Aquarians often live in the realm of big ideas and visionary thinking, garnet brings them back to earth, anchoring their spirit in warmth, stability, and passion. Its energy doesn't suppress their futuristic nature, it fuels it, giving them the emotional depth and personal power to carry their ideas forward. In this stone, intellect meets instinct. Mind meets heart. And potential becomes reality. Boosts confidence and motivation. For the often overthinking Aquarian, garnet acts like a firestarter in the emotional engine. It lights the internal spark when mental fatigue or doubt sets in. It helps January 25th individuals take their brilliant, complex thoughts and infuse them with courage and momentum. Garnet doesn't just inspire ideas, it inspires action. It reminds them of their power, their purpose, and their ability to shape outcomes instead of just theorizing about them. When worn consistently, it becomes a subtle but persistent force saying, "You've got this. Now go." Awakens creativity. Aquarians are naturally inventive, but sometimes their visionary minds move faster than their energy can keep up. Garnet, with its deep-rooted earth energy and passionate fire essence, creates a bridge between inspiration and execution. It doesn't just stimulate creativity, it channels it into form. Whether through art, writing, design, activism, or business, this stone helps January 25th individuals take nebulous ideas and turn them into something tangible. It unlocks the soul's voice and invites it to speak, not later, but now. Enhances loyalty and devotion in relationships. While Aquarians are known for their independence, garnet softens the edges of emotional detachment by awakening the heart chakra. It reminds the January 25th soul that connection doesn't mean confinement, it means shared strength. Garnet deepens bonds, encourages emotional honesty, and strengthens loyalty, not just to others, but to one's own values. It helps them stay rooted in relationships that matter, reinforcing the beauty of commitment without compromising freedom. For partnerships that are meant to last, garnet becomes a quiet guardian of mutual respect and fiery connection. Wear it when you need clarity in decisions or courage in love. Aquarians are thinkers, sometimes to a fault. They can become paralyzed by overanalyzing every angle of a situation. Garnet cuts through the fog. It reconnects them to their instincts and helps them feel their way forward, especially when logic falls short. In moments of emotional uncertainty, romantic vulnerability, or big life choices, garnet provides grounding and inner resolve. It whispers, "Trust yourself. Be bold." And for January 25th natives, who often live in the realm of what if, this gentle nudge toward decisive, heart-led action can make all the difference. Vedic astrology, Capricorn Sun meets Aquarius mind. According to Vedic sidereal astrology, many individuals born on January 25th actually fall under the sign of Capricorn Makara rather than Aquarius, due to the system's precise astronomical alignment. But don't let that confuse you, because here's where it gets beautifully complex. While Western astrology classifies them as Aquarians driven by Uranus, Vedic astrology grounds them in Saturn-ruled Capricorn, gifting them with stability, endurance, and wisdom beyond their years. This unique astrological duality gives them the mind of an innovator and the soul of a builder. They aren't wild dreamers, they're architects of possibility. They dream in blueprints. They see the mountain, then climb it slowly and strategically until the summit belongs to them. Grounded but open-minded. The Capricorn influence under Vedic astrology keeps the January 25th individual deeply tethered to reality, even when their ideas reach far beyond the present moment. They're not impulsive thinkers, they're methodical idealists. Their open-mindedness isn't scattered or naive, it's calculated, tested, and mature. They explore new ideas with a logical lens, always asking, how do we apply this? They love innovation, yes, but they also respect systems, foundations, and form. This rare balance allows them to welcome the future without rejecting the lessons of the past. While others leap without looking, they build the bridge first, then walk across with steady resolve. Career-focused, yet spiritually curious. Professionally, Vedic Capricorns are some of the most ambitious, goal-oriented individuals in the zodiac. They set long-term goals and are willing to work tirelessly to reach them. But beneath their polished, practical exterior is a seeker, someone who craves inner meaning and a connection to the divine order of things. They're just as likely to meditate on karma or dharma as they are to draft a business plan. This duality makes them powerful leaders and mentors. They don't just chase success, they ask why it matters. They bring soul to the workplace and vision to their spiritual journey. Their work ethic is cosmic, rooted not just in ambition, but in purpose. Family-oriented, though selective with emotions. Family holds deep importance to January 25th individuals under Vedic influence, but they approach it thoughtfully. They're not necessarily the most outwardly affectionate or expressive people in the room, but they're always observing, always caring in ways that are quiet but profound. They believe in loyalty, legacy, and intergenerational wisdom. At the same time, they don't offer their emotional world to just anyone. Vulnerability is sacred, and trust is earned. When they open up, it's real, raw, and deeply meaningful, but only for those who've proven they can hold that space. Emotionally, they're like ancient temples, still, strong, and full of depth. Saturn's influence brings maturity, patience, and long-term vision. Saturn, known as Shani in Vedic tradition, is a strict but benevolent teacher. It doesn't reward quickly, but it always rewards fully. For the January 25th native, Saturn's presence instills an innate sense of time, responsibility, and karma. These individuals often feel like they were born old souls, with a serious demeanor, a no-nonsense work ethic, and a strong grasp on cause and effect. They rarely rush decisions. Instead, they plan, test, and move forward only when ready. This makes them masters of delayed gratification. They may not get recognition early in life, but as they mature, their wisdom, reliability, and integrity make them pillars in their communities. Saturn teaches them to think beyond the moment, and they do, constantly. Stone horoscope, obsidian. In the stone zodiac, your energetic twin is obsidian, a glossy black volcanic glass formed from rapidly cooled lava. At first glance, it appears simple and opaque. But hold it to the light, and it reflects hidden depths. Just like those born on January 25, obsidian is sleek, mysterious, protective, and immensely powerful beneath the surface. It is a mirror of the subconscious, a blade of truth, and a shield against deception. This is not a stone for the faint-hearted, it's a tool for those ready to face themselves fully. That's why it resonates so deeply with your energy. You're not here for surface-level living. You're here to know, to heal, and to transform, even if that means going into the shadows. Helps clear mental fog. With an Aquarius-influenced mind and Capricorn-guided responsibility, January 25 natives often juggle dozens of thoughts, tasks, and possibilities at once. This mental multitasking, while impressive, can sometimes lead to overstimulation, doubt, or anxiety. Obsidian acts as a mental detoxifier. It absorbs scattered thoughts, clears confusion, and creates a sense of inner stillness. It's like a psychic eraser, helping you focus on what really matters. Whether you're overwhelmed with decisions or stuck in overthinking, obsidian cuts through the noise and sharpens your mental clarity with surgical precision. Enhances your insight and intuition. Obsidian doesn't just work on the conscious mind, it dives deeper, unlocking intuition and subconscious awareness. For someone like you, already intuitive, already wise, this stone acts as a truth amplifier. It connects you with your inner compass, the part of you that knows what's right even before the evidence shows up. It reveals blind spots and unlocks insights that might otherwise remain buried. Whether through journaling, meditation, or deep contemplation, working with obsidian enhances your ability to see beyond. It strengthens your spiritual sight and gives you courage to trust what you feel, even when it defies logic. Shields against emotional manipulation. You're an independent thinker, but that doesn't make you immune to emotional manipulation, especially from those who play on your empathy or idealism. Obsidian protects your energy field like armor. It helps you detect subtle manipulations, energetic drains, or people who want access to your mind or heart without offering honesty in return. This stone keeps you emotionally clean, cutting cords that no longer serve, and reinforcing boundaries that protect your time, focus, and integrity. When worn or kept nearby, obsidian helps you remain centered in your truth, unaffected by guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or passive aggression. Encourages personal transformation. Obsidian is a shadow worker's best friend. It doesn't sugarcoat, it doesn't flatter, it shows you what needs to be seen. And for a January 25 individual, who often thrives in self-analysis and growth, this is exactly the kind of mirror they need. It helps illuminate buried emotions, unresolved pain, and outdated beliefs, not to overwhelm you, but to liberate you. With obsidian, transformation isn't external, it's internal alchemy. It's the slow, steady process of shedding illusions, reclaiming power, and stepping into the most authentic version of yourself. And you, more than most, have the strength and insight to do exactly that. It's your anchor when the winds of change blow too hard. You are no stranger to upheaval, internally or externally. As a forward thinker guided by both Aquarian disruption and Saturnian structure, your path is one of constant evolution. But even the strongest among us need grounding. Obsidian is your anchor. When change arrives suddenly, relationships shift, careers pivot, beliefs crumble, it helps you stay rooted. It reminds you of who you are beneath the chaos. It holds you steady while you adapt. With Obsidian, transformation doesn't become a storm, it becomes a sacred initiation. One you were born to survive, and thrive through. Zodiac compatibility. Let's get something straight, not everyone can handle a January 25th Aquarius. And that's not a brag, it's a fact. These individuals are complex, cerebral, wildly independent, and emotionally layered. They aren't looking for normal. They're looking for magic that feels like mutual evolution. If the connection isn't mentally rich, emotionally authentic, and spiritually expansive, they're not interested. But when the stars align and that elusive chemistry ignites, it's not just a relationship, it's a revolution. They fall not just in love, but into alignment. And that's when it gets electric. Gemini, talk for hours, love forever. This is the match where two minds meet and never want to stop talking. Gemini brings wit, curiosity, and a flexible spirit that feels like a breath of fresh air to the January 25th Aquarius. They don't just date, they collaborate. Whether discussing philosophy, brainstorming their next business venture, or playfully debating which sci-fi universe is most plausible, this pair thrives on dialogue. There's mutual respect for each other's intellect and emotional freedom. Both signs dislike clinginess and drama, so their shared light-hearted yet deeply curious nature keeps things exciting. And when emotional intimacy grows, it happens slowly, honestly, and without pressure, just the way both of them like it. Libra, style plus substance equals harmony. Libra brings elegance, diplomacy, and balance to Aquarius' edgy idealism. What makes this match sing is their shared love for ideas, culture, and fairness. Libra helps smooth Aquarius' sometimes blunt delivery, while Aquarius teaches Libra to speak truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Together, they create a relationship that feels both aesthetically beautiful and intellectually engaging. They adore spending hours in art museums, binge-watching documentaries, or attending social justice rallies hand in hand. This is a romance that looks good on the outside, but the real magic lies in the way they emotionally align. They value partnership without possessiveness, and that's a rare and precious gift. Sagittarius, partners in crime and adventure. When these two get together, the world becomes a playground of possibility. Sagittarius brings fire, optimism, and a thirst for truth that perfectly complements Aquarius' visionary mind. They inspire each other to grow, explore, and push boundaries, whether physically through travel, or mentally through debate and discovery. Neither sign wants a conventional relationship, and that's exactly why they work. They're bonded by freedom, fueled by curiosity, and energized by a shared desire to evolve. When challenges arise, they're more likely to laugh and learn than spiral into conflict. Together, they make a love that's about expansion, not containment, and that's the ultimate high for both. Aries, shared fire and ambition. This is a bold, daring, high-voltage match. Aries brings passion and action, while Aquarius brings vision and direction. Together, they're an unstoppable force, challenging each other to be better, think bigger, and move faster. Aries adores Aquarius' originality and boldness, while Aquarius respects Aries' courage and drive. Sure, there might be clashes, Aries can be impulsive, Aquarius stubborn, but they both admire strength and authenticity, so conflicts often turn into breakthroughs. What makes this match work is their mutual willingness to take risks, not just in life, but in love. They don't just want a partner, they want a co-conspirator. And when they find that in each other, sparks fly. Cancer, too emotionally needy. This pairing can be tough. Cancer needs consistent emotional nurturing, deep reassurance, and a sense of emotional merging that often overwhelms the freedom-seeking January 25th Aquarius. While Aquarius is capable of deep love, they express it through ideas, actions, and presence, not constant emotional validation. Cancer may interpret Aquarius' need for space as coldness, while Aquarius may feel suffocated by Cancer's emotional demands. Misunderstandings are frequent unless both commit to extreme patience and emotional translation. While the bond can feel karmic and meaningful, it often requires more emotional labor than either party is equipped to sustain long-term. Taurus, too stubborn and routine. This relationship often begins with fascination. Taurus is grounded, sensual, and stable, while Aquarius is electric, unpredictable, and cerebral. But over time, their core values often clash. Taurus craves predictability, physical touch, and slow-building connection. Aquarius thrives on spontaneity, mental stimulation, and freedom. Taurus wants roots, Aquarius wants wings. Their mutual stubbornness can lead to a deadlock, neither one budging, both convinced their way is better. Compromise is difficult, especially when lifestyle preferences diverge. They can learn a lot from each other, but maintaining harmony often feels like a full-time job. Virgo may try to fix the free spirit. Virgo enters relationships with a desire to refine, improve, and help. While this comes from a place of love, it can feel intrusive to a fiercely independent Aquarius. January 25th natives don't want to be fixed, they want to be understood. Virgo's attention to detail and routine-driven mindset may contrast with Aquarius' abstract, future-oriented flow. Virgo may find Aquarius too detached or inconsistent, while Aquarius sees Virgo as too rigid or critical. Unless both partners evolve into more accepting versions of themselves, the relationship can become a dynamic of unintentional judgment and silent frustration. Respect for each other's methods is essential, but often hard-won. Scorpio, intensity clashes with detachment. Scorpio loves with depth, possessiveness, and complete emotional immersion. Aquarius loves with detachment, autonomy, and expansive curiosity. While this pairing can generate magnetic chemistry, it's often short-lived or explosive. Scorpio may try to merge souls, while Aquarius is still contemplating quantum entanglement on a podcast. Scorpio demands presence and emotional transparency, Aquarius offers ideas and independence. Power struggles are common, as Scorpio tests loyalty and Aquarius resists control. Though both are highly intelligent and passionate in their own ways, they communicate love in drastically different languages. Without serious emotional decoding and vulnerability, this match can feel more like a tug-of-war than a partnership. Final thoughts, the soul blueprint of January 25th. If you were born on January 25th, your existence is no cosmic accident. You were not designed for conformity, for silence, or for playing it safe. You weren't sent here to echo the past, you're here to design the future. You are the shift. The update. The bold question mark in a world full of periods. Your soul chose this lifetime to break molds, challenge limits, and ask the questions that make others uncomfortable, because within discomfort lies awakening. You are not here to blend in. You are here to redefine reality. A seeker of truth. At your core, you are a truth hunter. You don't accept what you're told at face value, you deconstruct it, analyze it, and reshape it through the lens of your own hard-earned insight. You crave understanding that pierces illusion, meaning that stretches beyond the surface. Whether it's decoding human behavior, unraveling spiritual paradoxes, or untangling complex social systems, your mind finds peace only in authenticity. You're allergic to hypocrisy, and your intuition rings alarm bells the moment someone fakes their way through life. Truth, for you, is sacred. It's not just a concept, it's a life path. And you walk it bravely, even when it isolates you. A mind with wings. Your mind is a galaxy unto itself, full of constellations of thought, flashes of insight, and gravitational pulls toward ideas others haven't even imagined yet. You're always thinking ahead, always scanning the horizon for what comes next. Your imagination doesn't live in fantasy, it lives in potential. You see connections that others miss, synthesize unrelated concepts into game-changing ideas, and ask questions that leave people both speechless and inspired. Your intellect is not cold or clinical, it's alive, creative, and capable of sparking revolutions. Whether you're quietly journaling or leading a team into uncharted territory, your brain is always flying, and taking others with it. A heart that values freedom. Freedom is not a luxury for you, it's a necessity. You love deeply, but not possessively. You commit, but only when it feels like expansion, not confinement. In all things, relationships, careers, identity, you need the space to evolve. Your love language is autonomy. Your loyalty is strongest when it's given the air to breathe. You cannot be controlled, tamed, or rebranded to fit someone else's expectations. And that's exactly why your love is so pure, because it's chosen, never coerced. Your heart beats not in chains, but in rhythm with the open sky. A soul born to challenge convention. You didn't come here to agree. You came here to question. To innovate. To shake the foundations of stagnant systems and breathe new life into tired traditions. You're not afraid to stand alone if it means standing in your truth. You challenge what others accept as normal, not out of rebellion, but out of necessity. You know that growth doesn't happen inside comfort zones. You aren't interested in maintaining appearances, you're interested in what's real. Whether it's in art, science, spirituality, or politics, you bring an original voice, a visionary pulse. And while some will call you a rebel, the wise will call you a pioneer. You walk a path few dare to explore. Your journey won't always be easy, but it will always be yours. You're wired for independence, for introspection, for discovery. You've likely felt different from an early age, maybe even alienated at times, but that difference is your superpower. You're here to forge a trail, not follow one. And that often means making peace with solitude, sitting with discomfort, and choosing integrity over acceptance. But through it all, you continue. You rise. You create. And the world around you shifts, sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once, because of your quiet refusal to settle. Some will call you eccentric. They'll raise eyebrows at your ideas. They'll misunderstand your detachment, your hunger for truth, your refusal to fit in. But others? They'll call you brilliant. They'll lean in when you speak, light up in your presence, and remember you years after a single conversation. Because the ones who truly see you, who feel your soul and recognize its frequency, will never forget you. And neither will the world you're here to change. If this resonated with you, or with someone you know born on January 25th, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out more horoscopes and cosmic deep dives on this channel. The stars have more stories to tell, and we're just getting started. Curious about what your numbers, stones, and trees say about you? Drop your birthday in the comments and let's decode your cosmic blueprint together. See you in the next video. Until then, stay strange, stay stellar.